Okay, so let's have a look at question 2 then. So what's question 2 all about? It's my favourite topic, object-oriented programming. Now again, this is probably a bit easier in Java, or not easier, just more easy to follow, I guess, sometimes in Java for object orientation. Python can be a bit weird, but we'll try and figure it out anyway. Anyway, so we've got Hidden Boxes is a game whose players hide boxes in a virtual world, other players search for the boxes, and we use OO techniques to use the game. The program has a class named Hidden Box, and then we have the following properties. So these are all going to be our attributes that go with our class. And then we have to write the program for Hidden Box, declare properties as private, do not write the constructor, do not write other methods, and then very specifically for weird Python people, add a comment to give its identifier and the data type. Okay, and then save the program. So let's see what we can do there. So we get a whole bunch of different things going on there, but let's start here. So we're going to start with class. And my class is going to be called Hidden Box. Boom. Now it says not to use the constructor, which is going to be a bit difficult for us because that's kind of how we create stuff in Python. So I'm just going to have to do things as comments for each of the different parts, okay, to give its identifier and the data type. Okay, so we're going to have box. Now I'm going to write it out in proper pseudocode. You could probably get away with not doing it that way, but declare box name, and that's going to be a I think that's going to be a string. Now it does say it should be private. Not so sure where the private part goes. Anyway, let's do it. I'll do it Java style. Declare private box name as a string. Okay, and then I'm going to, again, it shouldn't matter as long as it's clear. Remember, pseudocode's supposed to be informal. Now, I can't promise the examiners won't be idiots and mark you down, but they shouldn't. However, you know what it's like. Okay, we've got the creator. So again, I want to declare creator or declare private creator, and that's going to be declared as a, it's also going to be string, isn't it? Okay, and then I'm going to declare private game location. Location in the format of 2 letters, oh sorry, date hidden, the date the box was created. Okay, declare private date hidden. And that's going to be, I think that's going to be it. It's either going to be a date or it's going to be a string. Now, here's where I've got a bit confused. So according to when I spoke to the examiners, you can't import stuff. However, when I looked at some other previous stuff, they were importing date time. Okay, let me check if that's right or not, the spelling. Stick pass in there for now. No module date, oh, date time, not data time, date time. Okay, so we might have to use the date in here, or maybe we don't. It goes against our own rules, but we just got to accept that. Okay, so we're going to have declare private date hidden as date, and then we're going to have declare private game location. Now, what's that going to be? It's got letters and numbers. It's also going to be a string. Last find, 2-dimensional array that stores the player's name and that stores the player name of the last 10 players to find the box, and a comment of what they've written inside of it. Okay, so it's going to be a 2-dimensional array that stores the player name and it stores the other things. So we are going to have if I can find my right questioning thingy. Okay, so I'm going to declare private, and this is called last finds, and that's going to be an array. Now, it's going to be an array of last 10 players, so it's going to be 0 to 9, comma, and then we'll get the player's name and a comment, so that's going to be 0 to 1. 0 to 1, yeah. So it's going to be 0 to, yeah, n minus 1. Okay, cool. And of, what data type is that going to be? Well, that's going to be a string. Okay. And then we're going to have our last one here, which is called declare private active and true and false, so therefore it's going to be a boolean. Okay, so I think, oh sorry, I'll get rid of that pass there. So I think this is what it's asking for as part of our code. This date time, got a question mark around about it, so I might check the marketing scheme at some point just to see if they're using date time or not. But let's hope they are or not. I'm not sure which I'm hoping for. I'd rather they kept the rules, but I would rather they use the same sort of rules for everybody rather than telling us one thing and changing it around when it comes to the actual exam. Okay, anyway, so write the program for declare properties as private, give all the stuff, save your program, and paste into the evidence document. Okay, done. Well, I'm not doing evidence documents, but that should be enough. Oops. Okay, so then we've got the constructor. The constructor is going to take the box name, creator, date hidden, game location as parameters. Okay, sets the box to be inactive, initializes all the empty arrays as empty. Okay, so let's take the box name, creator, date hidden, and game location as parameters. So to make a constructor, we do def underscore underscore init underscore underscore brackets, and then we always have self in Python because Python's weird. And then we're going to have the other parameters, which it says are the box name, the creator, the hidden date, and all these other things up there. Oops. So now here you see I could do box name like that for the parameter coming in, and that would be totally fine. However, I've often seen in the marketing scheme put a P to denote it as a parameter, so just for the sake of safety, let's do it like that. Date hidden, so it's going to be that, with a P on the end to denote it as a parameter, and then this one's going to be the game location. And again, I'm going to stick a P on the end there just to denote it as a parameter. There's no need for that extra P, but again, let's just do it the way that they're doing it, because then it should be easier for them to read, and hopefully we'll get more points. Okay, so we take those things, and then we're going to... Okay, takes the box name, as parameters. Sets the box to be inactive. Okay, so when it says it takes them as parameters, I'm assuming it's saying we're going to assign it to the equivalent internal variable, or attribute, sorry. So what's box name actually called? It's going to be called self.boxname. Now, because it's private, it should be underscore underscore box name, and that's going to equal the parameter box name. And then we're going to have something very similar for each of the ones going down. Now, I'm really bad when it comes to... I'm really bad about forgetting these underscore underscore, so apologies. I'm almost certainly going to forget them at some point, but hopefully it won't be too bad, but yeah, it does happen, sorry. Okay, date hidden is going to equal the date hidden Oops. Okay, and game location. Oops, sorry, let's do the self bit first. And we're going to have the game location. And we're going to, oops, no P. And that's going to become equal to the game location, like so. Okay, now when I'm declaring these, private, declare private, something string, declare private, which should be creator. Now when I declare them, maybe I also want to change them to have their underscores as well, just for safety's sake. Even though we've said private here, I like to be extra sure so that we can get the puts. Okay, so all good so far. Sets the box to be inactive. So we've got active, so we can do self dot underscore underscore active, and that's going to equal true or false. Sets the box to be inactive, so I'm assuming that's false. Active, if I can spell, doesn't it? My old enemy, spelling. Okay, and then we are going to initialize all of the elements of the array as empty. Okay, so what's our array look like? So we're going to do for x in range, and we're going to go from 0 to 10, remembering that Python is not inclusive with the range, so it's going to be from 0 to 9, which is 0 to 9. Then I want to do row equals a blank thing, and I'm just going to put 2 spaces in there, so it's going to be empty. I could possibly do it as none instead, but just so that we remember it's a string, I'm going to put it in as a string. And then I'm going to append that to the last finds. So I can do self.lastfinds.append. Oh, sorry, I'm going to have to actually make it first, aren't I? I'm going to have to do self.lastfinds before I can append to it. Is going to be an empty array to begin with. And then for x in ranges, I'm going to make a row, and then I'm going to append each row to the last finds. Okay, and I think that's correct. However, let's print it out and just see that we're getting what we want. Okay, so what happens if we print? I'm not going to have set up instances and stuff. Okay, I'm not going to print it out, but hopefully we can come back later and deal with it correctly. Okay, but I think that is the answer to the constructor question. Okay, and then we need to copy and save it. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, I'm fairly happy with that. I can go back and change stuff later, should it go wrong. Okay, so the class HiddenBox has getters, and so let's get box name, get game location, and it's going to have get box name, get location. That's it. Okay, so we just need these two as getter methods for our class. So we go back here, and then we do a nice new row, the same space as the int, and we're going to do def. I'm going to have get box name, and that's going to have self inside of it, and it's simply going to return the box name, and then I'm going to have def get location and self, and that one's going to return. Okay, so they're both returning two different things. Box name, so I'm going to return self.box name. And location, I'm going to return self.location. Ba-bam! And that should be it. It's quite an easy one. Continue on. Okay. Okay, now the next bits are going to get, let me just check, right, getters instead of miss. Now D and E are maybe going to get a bit more complex, so I'm just going to pause for a second so that I don't have to, if I mess it up, I don't have to remake the whole video. Okay, be back in a wee sec.